Welcome to Thursday Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing a TV from 1984. Here it is. Let's look at the front. There's a screen that measures about 4 inches by 3 inches. Now there's something wrong with mine because the TV mode does not work. It used to, but it doesn't anymore. Anyways, it has a switch to select the mode, off, TV, which, remember, is broken on this one, and radio, which does work. In fact, everything works, except for the TV, which is kind of the main purpose of this, but whatever. Next to that, we have the UHF channels, which go from 14 to 83. The next dial is for the lower frequency channels. It goes from 2 to 13. The U mode is what allows you to use the other channels we saw on this dial. Down here, you've got the volume and auto and manual, which doesn't make much sense to me. If you have it on auto, it does nothing. The speaker doesn't turn on or anything. It does have a clock, which is powered by one AA battery. Next to that is the radio dial to see where you've tuned it. Now, before I move on, you know how I said the TV mode doesn't work? Well, once in a blue moon on a freak accident, when exactly 3 planets align, or something, you'll get it to work, as seen in this video. Now let's look at the top. There's a speaker in this area, which is not great. There's a tuning dial here, and a switch below it to adjust the radio band to AM or FM. It also has AFC, which works surprisingly well. We will look at that later. Right here is where the clock setting happens. It also has an alarm, which I think is supposed to beep, but on mine it just flashes a symbol of an alarm clock. I'm not sure what the point is, but whatever. To set the clock, you use the Set Light button, and you hold it and use the minute. But when you click Set Light, it turns on the light in the screen as well. Okay, let's look at... Oh, wait, I almost forgot the antenna in the back. On the right side, you have a plug for the power. I honestly have no idea what the DC thing is for. I'm assuming you'd have to buy it separately, so I don't get the point. It is a switch for internal and external, but that doesn't really do much for what I've used it for. The left side has these knobs. It does have a headphone jack as well, but it's only mono. Now, what I don't understand is why the V height needs this weird thing. What's wrong with a normal dial like the rest of them? Okay, let's look at the bottom. You can see on this label that it does have a model number. It also has a catalog number that you could find it from. Now, I looked this thing up online, and I didn't find many of these things still around. It is powered by 120 volts, 60 hertz, so sorry Europe, you can't use it unless you have a power converter, or you use the DC in, or the batteries, which we'll get to in a moment. This TV was manufactured in June 1984. The batteries are in this compartment. Now, the big empty spaces are for D-cell batteries, I think. I've never used batteries because it takes 9 of them. 9 batteries? Why not just use the power plug? Am I supposed to use this thing on a road trip or something? Anyways, the clock battery goes in right here. It's really tight in there too, to the point at where you need a flathead screwdriver just to remove it. Okay, I will now show you the radio and how good the AFC mode works. Alright, we're now going to do what I just said I was going to do. We're going to test out the radio. We're going to do AM, FM, and AFC. So we just need to look at the controls up on the top, and I'll show you how it works. So if I turn it on to radio, because if I turn it on to TV, the speaker doesn't pop. Go to radio, it clicks, and you can hear how the speaker sounds. Okay, now watch what happens when I switch to AFC.
39466955, or you can go to zeroresportland.com.
It sounds pretty good.
The only thing they leave behind.
And I can go to AM as well, which you can't even hear. So if I wanted to listen to AM, I could tune this.
To China's restrictions, right? I mean, this is like a worldwide, they don't want dirty.
Exactly. You're Oregon. Fair trade, 100% organic cotton.
So it's time to see what I think about the TV. So first of all, what do I like about it? Well, I do like that it has a radio and it does work really well. The AFC mode works great. The sound quality is not amazing, but I mean, it does have a small speaker and all that. You can't expect too much out of a TV that's 30 years old, so another thing I like about it is the clock. It looks nice. I like that it is backlit. It does have that option, and it's easy to set. So now let's go over some of the things I don't necessarily like about it. So the first is that it is a black and white TV. Now, I know it's not a brand new TV, it's no 4K color or anything, so you can't expect much, but it is black and white, and that is something to note. If you're getting this TV for like nostalgia purposes or things like that, and maybe you do want a black and white TV, then this has that. So another thing is there's not enough jacks on it. There's a headphone jack, but that's about it. There's other places to plug power into it, but there's no RCA jacks, there's nothing. There's no composite video, there's no S-video, there's nothing on this thing. So you can't plug anything into it other than headphones and the city power. And going along with how you power the TV, it takes way too many batteries. 9D batteries. That is insane. Plus, you gotta have a 10th battery, a AA battery, just to power the clock, which is fine. But that battery, like I said earlier, it's stuck in there right now. The only way for me to get it out is to use a flathead screwdriver and pry it out. That's the only way. So do the pros outweigh the cons? I would say that's up to you. Everyone weighs the pros and cons differently. You may have found things that I didn't even think about that are pros and cons. It's all up to you and how you want your TV. If you want ones that are just like this one, then this might be an option for you. But keep in mind, like I said earlier, these aren't very common. So would I recommend the TV? If you can find any, then yes, I would. It's definitely a cool item to have. I think it looks really good with old electronics or things like that, maybe from the 1980s, other electronics you might have from the time. And the only thing is, though, you won't be able to get any channels from it because there's not really any analog channels left. So, I mean, once again, like I said earlier, weigh the pros and cons yourself and come up with a decision yourself on whether you think this is worth it if you're considering buying one of these. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this week's episode. I'll upload again next week with a new Thursday Reviews episode. I hope to see you then.